Sunday, the 26th of the month of November 2023. Orúkọ mi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Kóìkì Media. Mo kí wa pé a kú inú Sunday tá a wà yìí. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nílé àti ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà ní ẹ̀yìn odi. Mo kí ọba Elédùmarè, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí Mùsùlùmí, mo kí Kristẹni. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé ká tún káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Kóìkì Media. A platform that use is time to educate and explain as much as possible reasons why the Yorubas are not fighting. We're just asking for the right to self-determination. Mo kí ìyá tó bí mi dáadáa, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àwọn family mi tí wọ́n gbà wá láyè tí a lè fi máa ṣe tá à ń ṣe. Because if those two are not in support of what I am doing, ó máa difficult láti lè ṣe tá à ń ṣe. So mo kí àwọn family mi dáadáa, mo kí gbogbo àwọn tó ń bẹ níjẹ̀bú Òde. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí bàbá wa Professor Banji Akintoye, mo kí bàbá wa Ayélóge, mo kí bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà, Ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá, mo kí bàbá wa Gẹ́gẹ́ Ojú, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa tí ẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ. Mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì náà mọ̀ pé a ti wà lórí ètò kó tó di pé a máa wọnú agbami ètò náà lọ. It might be just for 2 hours, depending on how far we can take you with the topic. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo àkọlé ìntàfẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Shettima, ìyẹn Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ó ní bó ti ṣe sọ, diversity, Nigeria diversity must be our source of strength. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí kí ló ń pè ní diversity. Mo kí Easy Dollar, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin alálùbáríkà tẹ́tí ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ wá bá wa ṣe kí ni ìtẹ́yìn lè ṣe fáwa náà ni pé ẹ sọ fẹ́ lòmíì kẹ̀dẹ̀ bá wa láìkẹ̀, torí pé tá a bá kúkú wá sórí program ẹ ní rí life wò. So the moment àwa yẹn àwa náà fi sacrifice, à ń fi time, à ń fi àsìkò sílẹ̀, àsìkò tó yẹ ká lọ ṣe nǹkan míì, òun la fẹ́ fi bá yín sọ̀rọ̀. So tẹ bá ti wá ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, ẹ sọ fẹ́ lòmíì, ẹ pín káàkiri. Kò ń ṣe tó yẹ ká máa sọ fún yín, but it's just part of what we need to remind you. Mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àṣẹ ń wind up ni, but ẹja kọ́kọ́ gbé lè mọ́ padà bọ̀.
Kóìkì Media, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Àwọn sálárà àgbáyé dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Ìgbéde lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá. Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, Kóìkì Media, we bring the world closer to your doorstep. They never sabi wetin we carry for her, but e dey move closer before dem go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body, but e dey move closer before dem go sabi. Ọ̀kìn lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìléhùn ló ló lájú. Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àná, ọ̀pẹ̀jẹ̀lẹ̀ dúdú. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa. Kájùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tójúlú àga. Òdúdú àkóbá lè gbé wá. Ọmọ òdúdú á ṣe kiri. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀kọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé. Ilẹ̀ ìlérí, àwa lè gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. Ìyàwó òdúdú wà ní wá.
Is a special one for Mr. Peter Pan for the super chat. We don't do this, but it's a special one for you. Thank you so much and welcome to the program.
Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà o. Àwùjádùn rẹ̀, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú ẹlẹ́rẹ̀ mi, ṣé ìlú ọmọ fìdí bò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ sájèjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ. Àjèjì tó bá wọ bẹ̀, á tẹ̀lé ní bọ́ra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó òyìnbó tó dé. Ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́kun pọ̀ sí o. Lóyìnbí mi dá, sáwa ní bàbá. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àdáńtọ́, àtúnpèrè gidi. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àwa là ń gbẹ́tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọgbọ́ o. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Ikú tó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. We bring you one closer to your doorstep. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àtẹ̀tẹ̀ tó fẹ́ o, tó kàn ní oko lára ni. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àpèrè gidi, Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà ni wá o. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Òdúdú alágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àgbìsọ̀dálẹ̀, àgbìsọ̀dígẹ̀ta. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Àsọ̀tàn, àkọ́pẹ̀rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́. Lóyìnbí mi dá, àwọn ní bàbá. Lóyìnbí mi dá, we bring you one closer to your doorstep. Lóyìnbí mi dá, Izara.
Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí the reason why we do this intro and then I play Toloye is just to get people settled into the program. There's no point rushing. Nigeria, we try as much as possible to do a program that you can sit, but unfortunately, there's not much we can do because it costs you a lot of data. But Emma Binusiwa, it is just a process. Tabanika Sari Bere program here, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé a ti wà lórí ètò. We try our normal time. We have used 9 minutes, but within the next 5 minutes, I play anthem and then we go into the program. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń darapọ̀, intel ṣe tó lè tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn ni pé ẹ sọ fẹ́ lòmíì náà, ẹ like ẹ share. It's not something we should be telling people. I mean, but wọ́n ní Koiki kó má dàbí pé ìgbéraga máa bá wa sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé kó pín ètò ẹ̀ torí pé ètò tiẹ̀ yìí education wà níbẹ̀. And I'm not joking. It takes me a lot of time to come out. Kí n tó jáde, mo máa research díẹ̀, máa pe ẹlòmíì náà, máa pe àwọn research team, interface sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, ṣé n tó lè ṣe àwọn èèyàn lọ́kàn ni. Because kò sí point kí n jókòó 3 hours, kẹ má rí nǹkan kan mú kúrò lọ. So tẹ́yìn náà bá wá rò pé ètò tẹ́lẹ̀ ó yàtọ̀, I am not saying I want to know yato, but this particular one cannot be compared because educational program tó máa ṣe ọmọ Nàìjíríà tẹ́mi ẹ̀ máa kúrò lára Nàìjíríà. Mo ń kà lórí Twitter láàárọ̀ yìí àbí nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí lọ́sàn-án yìí. Wọ́n produce a flight chart láti Lagos. Ẹ máa farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ yìí. Plane tó yẹ kó gbéra láti Lagos lọ sí Abuja ó dẹ̀ bá rẹ̀ lásàbà. Ó dẹ̀ ṣe sọ pé Nigeria is a country. I pity a lot of you. Ẹja gbọ́ tí gbòòwò tàbá dé I play anthem. We go into the program. Mo kí ẹ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Mr. Peter Pan for the super chat. Thank you so much. And you went on to say, Up Koiki Media, we love you and we pray for you. Intel ṣe náà ni pé ẹ bá wa pín ètò yẹn.
Ọjọ́ òní ọjọ́ tó lágbẹ̀rẹ̀ gidi gan-an ni fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá dàda. Orí ni ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ọba ti pọ̀ ọ̀tá ìbáyọ̀. Wọ́n ní alákọ̀ọ́rí ọmọ ti lọ. Wò ó, èyí tí wọ́n ròyìn yẹ̀ olówó ọba ńlọ gbogbo sẹ́. Sáńdà máa Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣàṣẹ́bẹ̀ lọ wà. Ọ̀gá máa dúpẹ́ Olódùmarè ọba òkúri. Tí ọba ti tàbí wòlé pọ́jọ́ òní ó tó pé ńkọ́ kí lọ fẹ́ wá láàrin àwọn ọmọ adarí mú gan. Tàbí tó bá ti dàbí kí ọmọ láàrin ìgbẹ́ kí ló máa ń ṣe dá òkè ìró. Ọjọ́ máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ alágbẹ̀dẹ àyànmọ́ ọba tó fi ọ́ dára tó dùn. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o, ìwọ náà kọ́ Olódùmarè ọba ní kí ọlá lùdẹ. Ẹ̀sẹ̀ wọn dúpẹ́ o. Sunday o. Ẹ̀sẹ̀ wọn dúpẹ́. Máa gbọ́ àwọn tí gbogbo ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o tẹ́ wọn mọ́lẹ̀ pátápátá wọn ò lè mí má o ti kó wọn láyà jẹ́ kó lè sóge wọ́n ṣẹ̀rù bà wọ́n ọjà wọn láyà wọn ò lè mí fín má o ti fi òkúdú láfọ́ ipá ooru ní ẹ̀gẹ́ dànù. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ọmọ bá tiẹ̀ ọmọ bọ́ọ̀lù ọgbọ́n máa lè ìwọ náà bí bàbá tó tó dé àsìkò bí ọba ṣe sí ẹja fọ kí ní bẹ nínú ọ̀gán ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ti dún mọ̀wúrú bí ọ̀pá ní bọ́ pani bí ọba ní pani kó yé dún mọ̀wúrú. Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o ti di bí àná yìí yé ẹjẹ ọgbẹ́mọ wíwé kókò tó bá lè bí ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ fọyà kó máa fọyà gbèrègbèrè sàǹdọ̀rọ̀ máa fọ́ ẹni bá wọ pé ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ti di bí àná yìí káṣí ọmọ Adéyẹmọ yé orí ìgbà pé ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà ọmọ ọkọ ní ọ̀hún ṣéwù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọmọ ọkọ ṣe ìwọ lọ pa Gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ọpa Gàmbàrí nípa ìsìn ọ̀pọ̀ Sunday Igboho sa ọgbẹ́dà bàbá rẹ lọ òrò ọmọ tẹ̀lá ọlẹ́nilé mo sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ọmọ àjàtẹ̀ yẹn lẹ́ sílẹ̀ bàbá rẹ mo dé bọ́dà ní òde wọ́n di méjì bá rẹ̀ tán àwọn ọmọdé méjì bá rẹ̀ gbàgàdà yìí ó di méjì bá rẹ̀ gbẹ̀dínlógún ó kan ìlà àárọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní gbogbo ilé wọn gbàgàdà nínú bí àwọn rẹ̀ ọmọ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ ilé ń sọ̀wọ́ àkọ́yẹ́sọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ ilé ń gbàlẹ̀ ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Sunday Igboho sàmà kú ogun ní nánilógún ogun lórí ilé àárọ̀ ògùn ni wọ́n fi jagun. Gbẹ́gbẹ́ jẹ́ kó ògùn òjì ẹjẹ́ nínú àwọn ológun ọ̀nà Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣàlọ́ ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gbòmìnira dandan ni. Má bá gbọ́ o, àṣẹ ìlànà Olódùmarè ni ọmọ ìlú ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o. Dákun mọ́rin àwọn oníṣẹ́ ẹbí ẹ̀tọ́ kálukú mọ̀ fi dùn wọ́n orí kálukú ló gbé dépò tó kùn. Wọ́n máa gbọ́ o, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tàtà ń tẹ́wá lóye ẹja fọwọ́pọ̀ àgbẹ̀ ẹni tó wá fi ṣe àgbẹ̀ lárugẹ gidi ni ẹni méjì wọ̀ wọn ò dùn ẹjọ́ òròdù lọ sí ibà méjì kó o ẹni tó wá fi ṣẹ́rán ọ̀gá tó fi ẹni tó fi ara wọn Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tó fi ara tiwa akọni jagunjagun ọkùnrin tààrà gbọdọ̀kẹ́lẹ́ ọmọ Adéyẹmọ wọn máa gbọ́n fẹ́ sàkà fún wọn ni ẹni tó bá ní kó òkú ní kékeré kó wọn fọwọ́ náà ṣe ra wọn ayọyẹ pọ ní kó lọ́wọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ gbá tó kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìdáwọ́ iná máa gbẹ̀yà gbẹdẹ òsì pàtàkì òní kúrò òdòkó tẹ̀ máa gbọ́ àwọn abábá rẹ tó ti wà nínú ìgbé ìdájọ́ wọn máa fọwọ́ tí ó gẹ́gẹ́ ni àwọn alágbára jagun tí wọ́n ní jagun ṣáájú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọn máa fi ọ́ tí ó gẹ́gẹ́ ni Oòduà ọlọ́ọ̀tún ọba àkàlà bàṣọwọ́ ìdàkà àjẹndẹ́kẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ́fọ́ fẹ́rí anáfọ́fúnná òun náà lẹ́rù ọmọdé wò ní ìfọ́ta agbóríná ọmọdé kòkó alùpùpù àbáàkùtù ògèdèǹgbé agbóhùngbòrò lè jẹ́ sàgbó. Máa gbọ́ lọ́sọ̀rọ̀ Adéyẹmọ ń bọ̀ ṣàkóso mọ́kùnrin àyà wáyé náà ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ìsàmpolò sí gbẹ̀tugbẹ̀tu ọgbọ́n ọmọ Adéyẹmọ ní ẹja àkọwọ́tì àti yìí tẹ̀mí tọ́jú lápẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹja àkọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ èmi tún ẹ̀wọ̀ òtún kò lè gbọ́ adé kankan pa àkọ́dá yìí ọgbọ́ ẹja àkọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ ká bí ẹni tó wọ́n pàṣẹ lárugẹ ni ẹ máa bá wọn ní ẹgbẹ́ mi sẹ́wọ́n lọ́gbọ́n àwọn ní igi igbó sórí kò wọ́n dìgbẹ́ ẹ̀rí ni àwọn àgbàlagbà wọ́n ní bí orí bá gbó tọrùn inú déyìn ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ gan ni sẹ́kùtì ọmọ Adéyẹmọ yéé báyìí bá kò tó òní ọjọ́ burúkú tọ́jú lápẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tí wọ́n ṣerú kú ẹ̀ mo ò lè mú jẹ́ ẹ̀. má ṣe pé ṣùgbọ́n nu rẹ̀ gbogbo tó ọba tó sátábà rẹ̀ bọ̀ ìmọ̀lẹ̀ thank you. àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ gbogbo tó ọba ti àrò ọ̀rọ̀ mọ àwọn tó mú gbọ́dọ̀ ná wáyé má ṣe pé o ṣùgbọ́n má jẹnu rẹ̀ ó pọ̀fù gbogbo tó pátápátá àrò ní ọmọ àrò mọ. wọ́n máa fèkì ṣe lọ́lé wọ́n máa fèkì sí lọ́lé wa kì í ṣe é mà wọ́n lè bí ilé wípé ìtàlọ́pọ̀ ní ìwòsàn lápẹ̀rẹ̀ lápẹ̀já ní tàmẹ́dọ́ ní ìmọ̀lẹ́ akébìrì ọmọ wọn lọ́gbọ̀n mọ̀ṣọ́ àjílété mọ́bọ́lúwa mi dúpẹ́ mọ́ ẹrù àgbà.
Bàbá wa Joseph wọ́n ní Koiki be smiling small small sir, God bless you. Àìtí débi ẹ̀rín ni tábà débi fàájì àdébi fàájì. Kò sí nǹkan kan náà tí a fẹ́ máa ṣe ká wá máa lejú fún inú screen. But when we are sitting here, we are not joking. If you are on the platform here, is a serious situation. Tó ń dùn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn. So tó bá yẹ pé ká rẹ́rìn ni, ìbí mi kúkú ti jẹun. Ìyàwó mi nísìn mo sọ fún pé mo fẹ́ ṣe program. Onoda baálé mi. Mo láti inconvenient because ó yẹ kó jókòó síbí kó máa wo nǹkan tó ń wò ó ti lọ sí yàrá nísìn. So àti rẹ́rìn kọ́ ni problem. Ǹjẹ́ Nigerians smile lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí? So tẹ́ bá ní ká rẹ́rìn, tó bá yẹ pé ká máa rẹ́rìn, ká jàpárá, ká dẹ̀ máa lọ́lé, fine. But at the end of the day, the situation on ground is a very painful one. Mo wà nù pàdé lánàá pẹ̀lú Bàbá Akíntóyè, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan wà nínú ẹ̀, kò ṣe gbogbo èèyàn lọ́pẹ́. And this man is pained. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò smile. Èmi ti jẹ pounded yam, iyán ni mo jẹ lálẹ́, ṣọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ríyán jẹ gan ní Nàìjíríà. Má bí mi pé kí ló dé tí mò ń jẹyán lálẹ́, problem tèmi nìyẹn. Ìjẹ́ ìwọ náà tẹ̀ rí jẹ ní Nàìjíríà. Mo ń padà bọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ẹja kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ eléyìí. That was Ekiti nígbà tí ariwo Yorùbá nation tí olóyè tó bá wa púṣẹ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní àwọn prefer Nigerian diversity. Bóyá ẹ̀yin náà ni Shettima ṣe sọ pé Nigeria diversity must be our source of strength. Kódà Tinubu is leading Nigeria to the grave. Èmi kọ́ mo sọ, ẹni tó sọ ẹ máa gbọ́ nínú ètò. Ìwọ má kánjú, ìwọ farabalẹ̀. Kò jókòó kò gbọ́n tá a fẹ́ sọ lálẹ́ yìí.
Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòótọ́ dára ọ̀nà òjò
Now we are in the full program. 20 minutes past we've used already, but the time in London, Nibi Timotin transmit programming is just 9 p.m. In Nigeria is coming up to 10 p.m. Good evening to you, Sister Buki. I can cite you on the Twitter space. Moki, our beauty and Mokwe, Mr. Paul Bentu Olugbenga Shaw. Good evening to you. I will do that for about just 10 minutes and we go into the program. Mama DVC, good evening. Yawa Ajala Bola Musakwe, good evening. Grandma Adebimpe Awoni Ekotoju, and thanks so much for the support all the time, financially, spiritually, and advice. Mokibaba Moraja, good evening to you. Mr. Richard Money, good evening. Mr. Abe. I know that. Kilo Tuliso. Kilo Masogon. Moki Mr. Daniel Niyi. Mr. Joseph Moki. Okoya Folayon Sopeki Akmeto Yen. Moki Entawalori TikTok. So let me still put on my glasses so that I can see as many of you that are also joining us. Moki Grandma Felicia Ajagbe. Mofita Oto Mofiki. Alex Mamu Sopwe. Happy Sunday. Moki Wono. Adekunle Ramon Moki. Moki Bobomo Nigeria. Nigeria is still a country as we speak right now, but it's a country that is already in distress. It's a country that needs help. Mr. Kinlade Emmanuel Moki Yoruba World Media, they're doing a great job. Moki Home-Based Media, Moki Independent Media, Moki Mr. Adeyemi Okunuga, Moki Bubeye Babawa, Moki Chief Mamila Yoruba, Moki Ajagun, Moki Kromesholako Bodoku, Atenita Daruko, Atenita Daruko Bubuini Monkey. Èmi náà ti try, mo ti pín ètò yìí síbi tó yẹ kó lọ. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà ní Lagos Island, mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà ní mainland. Mama kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Yẹmí Fatoki, mo kíyà mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí because tó bá jẹ́ pé ayé ìsìn tí àwọn èèyàn ń bímọ tó ń pa ọmọ yẹn, mo ń wo Lady K just less than an hour ago nígbà tí mo ń jẹ pounded yam. Bí àmọ̀ bá má tẹ̀ tí ìwò ni, just less than 20 minutes. Ìyàwó mi wá ní ṣé kò sí, mo ní ọmọ 13 years old kan ni wọ́n pa pé ó lọ síbi iṣẹ́. Ìyàwó mi náà lọ bí iṣẹ́ báwo kò lọ school ni mo ní we have about 20 million Nigerians that are out of school. So most wọ́n lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ níbi tó ti kọ́ṣẹ́ ó tún pàdé àgbákò. Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká pàdé àgbákò. The ritual is going on in Yoruba land. Kò ń ṣàwọn Fúlàní ló ń ṣe, kò dẹ̀ ń ṣọmọ Igbo. These are pure Yorubas. The terrorism tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nigeria, we can pin that to the Bororo. I'm sure you all know àwọn tá à ń pè ní Bororo because of the social media. We try not to want to call them that name, Fulani, as much. Kò ṣe pé a lè pè wọ́n ní Fulani, but I just don't want to. Mo kí gbogbo Koiki Media backup team. Àwọn gangan ní igi lẹ́yìn Koiki and gbogbo iṣẹ́ tó ṣe ní Ìbàdàn. Mo kí Alájà Ara. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n participate at that event. Ayomi Kundameju, my brother Mokie. In 7 minutes, I will stop all this kicking and Alewono Eto. Prince Adebayo Shitu Mokinyi. Moki Babawa Shokumbi Olufemi. One good job, Koiki Media. I can't wait to see Igboho in Nigeria. We will reach our promised land. That is the only way. Well, Opolopo disagree pẹ̀lú wa pé it is not the only way. Moki Eni Ọjà Ọ̀dàn Ọlámilékan pẹ́ Oni, good evening everyone. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Ringtone tiwa nìyẹn. Tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ Koiki Media, àwọn ọmọ yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ máa pe intan pè ní our ringtone. Bringing ìgbà kan àwọn kan máa ní bringing the war. Àwa ní rọ́ gbógun wá sí Nàìjíríà. Kódà Eunice Uchechi àwọn ti Biafra nìyẹn, mò ń bọ̀ wá kí ẹ dáadáa. Àwa sọ fún àwọn boys wa pé kò ń ṣe war. There's difference between W-O-R-L-D and W-A-R. Ogun ni W-A-R. World is the when we say the world, that is my map. So about sọ pé world, The world that we want now, I want to affect Yoruba country. Koni, I was listening to a space this morning. I will touch on that, especially Kwedunton learning Lagos State. There's a lot of things going on. But let's first talk about the most important thing. So Nigeria is somewhere around there. That is Nigeria. You might not see it properly, but at least see. So in this world, there's difference between war and world. Koiki Media brings the world. So sometimes you might think, Yoruba Nation, especially I am now a partner of Avon. It has nothing to do with Yoruba Nation. It's just a business. But it is only for those in UK. So if you want to buy a product from Avon, I think they even got their catalog, but you can do it digital. Click on that link, you'll be buying from my own shop. Only for those in UK. We don't ship to America or anywhere. I don't have the product. You buy from them, I will get a bit of percentage. It's as simple as that. It's a business. They've established for 135 years. If Nigeria has a kind of a business like that, maybe a lot of us would have been partner, franchise to such business. But unfortunately, Nigeria doesn't have such. I know Dangote do the same thing, but what I'm saying now is the Nigeria of today is not working. Many don't know what needs to be done, but Shettima is talking about our diversity. Mokie Eunice Uchechi, I'm doing very well. It's a Sunday. I've been busy, I paid a visit to my mom and I spent a good time with the grandchildren with her. So it's been a very good one. So it's a good Sunday. Moki Yami, my big auntie, Olushola David. Moki Buban YSDM. The meeting with Babaki Toye, I'm not going to tell you everything that happened in there, but it's all about the way forward. Opolopo Yoruba tired of Nigeria, but there are still some Yoruba that love Nigeria. So we have to balance it. What do we want? Do we want Nigeria? Do we want Yoruba Nation? Do we want restructure? Some people say it's leadership problem. Some people say whatever, but I am not here, to defend Tinubu. Tinubu has a lot of people that can defend him. My job is to defend Babaki Toye. My job is to defend Bubomo Yoruba. My job is to defend those that want the right to self-determination. You don't have to agree with me. I am not here to sell you, self-determination, but the Nigeria that you see today would eventually educate your background there because it's affecting those of you on the Facebook. So let's keep it as plain for now, so that way, and I think that will be the same thing. Right? Okay, the 1 year is a bit settled because the YouTube Koiki Media. I have Shettima, I have Tinubu, and I have a picture there, and I have Buhari. I've been trying to link the picture together, but I just found a website. It might be of benefit for you as well. It is called oldphotojoiner.com. So that is how I've been able to join the picture. The beauty of technology is not waiting for anybody. Okay, yeah, I've been following the Sierra Leone. There's a possible military coup. Would there be a military coup in Nigeria? I don't know. Yamiyetu Queen, thank you so much. I hope Midland is good. Hey, invite me. I want to be traveling as well, but it costs a lot. I saw you on the train. I remember saying to this, my auntie, we have 2 minutes, we're going to the program, that congratulations for your masters. Koiki, masters or do so, and these are our good, supporter as well. Everyone is a good supporter. Prince Olanrewaju, in the next 1 minute, I will stop all these greetings till after the program and we go straight into the conversation. We've spent already 29 minutes. Go straight into the program. We want to enjoy it, but presentation, there's nothing I can do to that. I wish I can have a satellite. Free. Yes, we need to discuss that. My sister, I want to travel around, Midland, Leicester, drive, Hall. It's a long journey, it's about 7 hours. Prince Olanrewaju Mokin, Just Reason, good evening. Nuruddin, good evening. Just Reason say, when is Koiki going to Germany to visit Igboho? Not everything comes onto the social media. That should be something you should start thinking. Relationship here. I don't put everything out because, again, people are watching my movement. I'm one person that people are watching the movement. So, Tibad Lord Germany, hey, look at us. I don't think it's necessary. Have I gone there or not? I leave that to you to think about that yourself. So it is something that is well said. Thank you so much, Just Reason. Yawa Taiwo Kike Alade Sakiru. And I will leave that now. Mr. John Taiwo, Baba Kende Oseni, Ahmed, Mukente Walori, Mixeller, Allow Baba, Moitiri, Plan B. I don't know whether it's already in or not. You can join us on the MixLR. Now, it's 10 minutes and that's about it. Let's come back into the program. It's going to be in English and also in our own beautiful language, thank you, in Yoruba language. Emma Binubishe Mukov, Eki flag and come reflect, you know, right there. So let's leave it like that. Yeah. So I'm sure you can still see my face. Good. So now, shout out to you. Let's come to it now. There's a lot of things happening lately. A lot of things are happening lately. A lot of things are happening lately in Nigeria. And we're finding it very difficult to catch up, especially we've not run program back to back. I decided to go quiet yesterday, not because I don't want to come out, but sometimes I just want to stay a little bit away as well from the social media. I spent time, follow YouTube Wakon. That one is just for different things. I was playing a motor car race. I was watching a movie. I was watching a movie. The problem we are having is that we have to continue to use all the media to keep the conscious mind that there's still a Yoruba nation. So whether I am live or not, I can tell you that a lot of activities is happening, but again, many people are concerned. What are worried with? Are we still in that same trajectory? That, that hype. Because the moment the hype start reducing, Yoruba nation. Mukiyami Abe Williams, thank you so much for the love. And I see you each time you reshare the program, whether you're live or not. Muki Bubei Grandma Patapata. Money, I will be the last man standing on this program, Agbedani, which is the Yoruba nation. And I know the reason why. I know the importance of communication. Communication that will be of benefit. But to ba ti di pe communication wa could stick too much on the right to self-determination. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá, they are thinking that the Yoruba nation affair is because of the Fulani or the Bororo, don't power, don't affect to her. It is wide bigger than that. And lára àwọn topic tá mú wá fún yín tá fi ń ṣe program. Irú ilé tá fi sọ̀rọ̀ lé lósìn. It's one of the reasons. Kódà, the diversity tí Shettima sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, he spoke, I believe, yesterday. And when I went to look at a lot of the headlines, let's start with Arise News. 15 hours ago, the Vice President, Shettima, thank you so much, you're right. Ayomiku say, anyone should not back down on the freedom and self-determination. Is not a year journey. And this is where I want us to understand that. We all, look, because I don't want to be caught again saying, I'm not ready for that. Especially my mom has told me continuously, Mama necessary. You have done your time, you are still doing what you need to do. Leave that to them to think about it. I'm not going to say that anymore. But one thing is, prior before the election, and think of weka daru nisin, then the only thing we can stick to is just to continue education. Because the weapon that if about government ija. So the only weapon that I have within me is this conversation that I'm doing right now. Owaku somo Yoruba lowo, koma prepare mind there. Okay, she diversity wa. One of it a culture wa. Culture won't be. She culture Nigeria ni, abi culture Yoruba, abi culture Igbo, abi culture Hausa. So 15 hours ago, this is how all the headlines about the topic, Tafisori Lori. Nigeria diversity is its source of strength. Vice President Shima Shettima has displeased that the traditional institution and its leaders are at the top of the President Bola Tinubu. According to the cable, Shettima, Nigerian diversity should be a source of strength. Ìbéèrè tó yẹ kẹ́yìn bí èmi nísìn ni pé mo kí ẹ dísí máa 1 2 3. Mo lè máa kí àwọn èèyàn along the line, but I don't want to be, oye yẹn. So lẹ́gàn yẹ bá kàn kí àwọn èèyàn, it's just to appreciate people that are on the thread. Kí ni wọ́n ń pè ní diversity gangan? Ẹni tó bá mọ̀ ní Yorùbá, because èmi ò mọ̀ Yorùbá ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi fi sínú comment section right now, mo bẹ̀ yín. Kí ni wọ́n ń pè ní diversity lédè Yorùbá? Tẹ́ bá mọ̀ ẹ bá wa fi sínú comment section. Màá pick along the line. Okoya Folayan Mokie, Just Prince, Moki Ijaya. Thank you so much. Now, this day, Shettima, Nigeria diversity must be our source of strength. Okay. If diversity be our source of strength, kí ni diversity yẹn gangan? Àti pé ṣá lè rí diversity láàrin ara wa within Nigeria. I think I should start. I still have a spare phone, so we should go live on the one more of the account that you need. All right, what I have to do, Taiwan Titon, because I'm feeling a little bit too hot. All right, what we should do is 4 minutes, 30 seconds. I know why I'm hot. So I'm going to come out a little bit on my seat. While I'm standing up on my seat, this video has been around, I don't know how long, but Eka Magbolo, Timafi Padade, sorry, Jokomi. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, àìtí rí ẹni tó ní fún wa ní translation diversity. Okay, so that means pé gbogbo àwọn táwa lórí program, meaning diversity ní Yorùbá láǹsọ yẹn. Bàbá wa Olú Fọlábí, good evening, my brother, happy Sunday, saying no. Okay. Diversity. Can you mean diversity lédè Yorùbá? I can't see anybody out there writing anything. Let me look at this platform. All right. Okay. Have now been pushed to the
fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one. We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three are synonyms. A country, territory, from the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country, it is not necessarily a nation. It's an association of peoples, and I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. Association of peoples who are their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. And in most African countries, a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right within a territory, secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word. And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayemi's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project. And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together, apart from the super egos? You know, when I had this experience, 2013, I was visiting a place called Du in Plateau State. The Plateau State governor is here. I got to Du the Friday before the Nations Cup final between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. And there was tension everywhere. But on Sunday night, when Nigeria won the game, the final match, the tension dissipated. And most people forget the fact that a young man from southeastern Nigeria received the ball from a young man from Panchin who had to leave Nigeria because his parents were killed. Victor Moses passed the ball to Sundemba. Sundemba scored the goal. And we didn't even ask about the local government of origin of the scorer of the goal. So what are our shared core values? If you ask the Americans, they talk of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have one. And it is when we begin to identify our shared core values that we begin to build a nation. What we have right now is a state held together at gunpoint. And when the state begins to oppress the citizen, there will be cries of marginalization, there will be secessionist and separatist agitation, there will be insecurity. Now we have set up Nigeria to be a place where the state is more powerful than the citizen, and the state is oppressive. We need...
Eshigoni, I think more people have told me diversity is Oniruru. I hope I pronounce it very well. Mokiyawa Dukwe Agbola, one in the Fulani are scared now because most Yoruba already wake up to go separate ways, and they have been ruling Nigeria for long. It does not get the Yoruba anywhere. It is time for us to go away. Moki Egbo Michelle Gwono, Tebate, send the super chat. I was still going to welcome you to the program. Moki Bugbo Entertainment Momowa. Babawa Ogun Orisha Loa Bisope Tabi Orishirishi Eya. Okay, so diversity is leader be Orishirishi Eya. Okay. Baba Kola Wole ni Germany ni Oniruru. Tebadeli help and to be pronunciation I will leave this line for now. Kamalo live. I think people should know that we are live on the Koiki Media on Instagram. Now, I welcome those of you on the MixLR and those of you as well. We are not bringing any request in. Please, I'm not going to accept any request. There's a lot of things I need to talk about, and I've already done 45 minutes, and I've not even touched anything at all. Now, one key Orishirishi Eya, easy for me to pronounce. Orishirishi Eya. Eshegoni Babawa Adewuse. Okay, one more pronounce it that dash me Oniruru. Okay, diversity. I'm asking the question tonight. Inje Gbogbo our Nigerians, do we believe that our diversity as it is since 1914 up to 1960 independent is still intact, was ever intact, has always been okay. But along the line, the Igbos had the intention to steal Nigeria. The Yoruba had the intention to steal Nigeria. The Hausa has the intention to steal Nigeria. And the Bororo also had the intention. The European country had the intention. Is this diversity? The English Dictionary of Diversity. A very good evening and welcome to the program. My name is Olamiko Ike and you're good to go on the lecture room. What is the full meaning of diversity? Yeah, Easy Dollar. Whether you are in the program or not, I say shout out to you. I have seen a lot of diversity or oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yà ní UK. I've lived here for too long to know that tó bá wo ẹni tó ń lọ yẹn wàá máa sọ pé ẹni fẹ́ jọ àwọn ẹ̀yà báyìí. Sometimes we use code because sometimes they don't feel very comfortable. And I'm not going to mention all those names. I'm sure some of you know, especially on Toman Tawishirishi Worobo. Now, what is the full meaning according to the English Dictionary or the Oxford Dictionary? The state of being diverse, diverse, variety, onírúurú, okay. Bígbà tí yàn fi irú ẹ̀fọ́ nǹkan kan. Wá ní kíyàwó ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ọbẹ̀. Mo mọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn ṣì ń jẹ ọbẹ̀ tó wà òkè mọ́ Nàìjíríà nísìn. Torí pé owó tẹ́lẹ̀ fi ra ọbẹ̀ yẹn fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti wà restricted. Not everybody. Kò tá bá náà ìyà ń jẹ àwọn èèyàn Nàìjíríà kò ń ṣe gbogbo ènìyàn ń jẹ. So kẹ̀ jẹ́ ká máa really clear yẹn. But the majority lèèyàn ìyà ń jẹ. But èmi ò rò pé àwọn kan ìyà ń jẹ wọ́n. There was a considerable diversity in the style of the report. The practice or quality of including or involving people from the range of different social and ethnic background. I want us to hold on to that word, ethnic background. Excuse me. So normally we say like we have 300 and something different ethnic groups in Nigeria. So give and take, let's leave it at 300. Give and take. I know it's more than that. Let's just leave it at 300. Again, somebody asked on Google, what do you mean by diversity with a question mark? The condition of having or being composed of different elements, variety, especially the inclusion of people of different race, culture in a group or organization. So, níbi tí gbogbo wa ti ń ṣiṣẹ́, ní gbogbo ibi tó lúkálukú wá wà lágbàáyé, onírúurú ẹ̀yà, okay, ẹ ṣé gan ni bàbá wa fà. That means pé kò síbi tá wà lénìí, presently, even whether you are in Nigeria or not, oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yà là ń rí nínú Nàìjíríà tí a tẹ̀ mọ́rú ẹ̀yà tó jẹ́. We know that we are 300. I don't think some of us have seen all those 300 physically. All we have been told all the time is we have Mukema Jack for Care, the cleaning service in the UK. We have different oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yà nínú Nigeria. Mokiba Bawa Adegunwa Oluwaseun, wọ́n ní diversity onírúurú ètò tí ó yàtọ̀ sí ara wọn nínú àṣà ètò ẹ ṣé gan ni. Now, it's mo wá fẹ́ find out nísìnyí pé as we are finding out these words tí Shettima ń sọ yìí, ṣé ó mìnà genuinely ni àbókàn sọ fún wa pé oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yà ni wá o, ẹ máa accept àwọn dáràndáràn bí àwọn bòròró tó ń wọlé wá pa wá. Ẹ mọ̀ pé yẹn gangan ni the major thing tá máa ń gbé síwájú. But what about those that are destroying the economy? Those that have destroyed it? Can we, the governor of Ogun State, also lórí politics today, lálẹ́, and he talked about what they picked from the last government. So now, can we say that the previous administration, Buhari, tó jẹ́ ẹ̀yà míì, ó lo àsìkò tiẹ̀ fáwọn ẹ̀yà tiẹ̀? Now, Tinubu náà ti débẹ̀ nísìnyí, but Tinubu ò fẹ́ lo Nàìjíríà fáwọn ẹ̀yà ti ẹnìkan, but they want us to use that diversity as our strength. But kí ló dé tí a rí same diversity yẹn nígbà tí Buhari wà níbẹ̀? Ǹjẹ́ a rí diversity yẹn? Kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ìyá dáadáa, ìyá tó lọ sí Midland, kí n má tún fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́, ó ti yé yín, ẹni tó lọ Midland nìkan ló mọ rẹ̀ láàrin wa. Ẹ ṣé gan ni, thanks so much, we can't love you less. Now, in tí mo kàn fẹ́ ká mú kúrò nínú ètò ta lẹ́yìn, tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tẹ̀ mú kankan kúrò, ẹ kàn máa rántí pé ẹgbọ́n ètò kan lọ́dọ̀ Koiki Media, ó wá ní gbogbo ẹ̀yà tó ń bẹ nínú Nàìjíríà, ǹjẹ́ àwọn ẹ̀yà yẹn, ǹjẹ́ gbígbé wa ó mú àlàáfíà wá? Ǹjẹ́ gbígbé wa yẹn, ǹjẹ́ ó mú unity wá? Ǹjẹ́ gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀yà yẹn, ǹjẹ́ gbígbé wa, ǹjẹ́ ó mú ìtẹ̀síwájú wá? Mo kí bàbá wa Kenny Adenio. Now, the condition of having or being composed of different elements. Ìyàn kan tún béèrè again, what does having diversity mean? What does having diversity mean? Diversity is a wide array of people that come from different backgrounds. Ṣé rí a fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú bùrùrù ń pa wá. In tó ní ṣe ni pé ẹ̀yà yìí ó wà lábẹ́ ọ̀nàdà ẹ̀yà kan tó ń ṣe méjì, tó ń ṣe mẹ́ta, tó ń ṣe mẹ́rin, tó ń ṣe márùn-ún, tó ń ṣe mẹ́fà. Àwa jọ ń gbé papọ̀. But in tí gbígbé wa ò bá fi jẹ́ ìrọ̀rùn fún wa, òun ni pé tó bá jẹ́ pé a ṣì wà ní that region, tólúkálukú hold the region ẹ̀, ẹ̀yà kan ò ní sọ fún ẹ̀yà kan bó ṣe máa operate nínú region ẹ̀. Ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Tó bá jẹ́ pé a wà nínú region wa, which is what we agreed. Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí wọ́n sọ dáadáa o. In tí wọ́n agree ní Lancaster House in 1957-58 ni pé kí àwọn ẹ̀yà yìí lè gbégbé àlàáfíà nípa ètò ẹ̀sìn wa, nípa ètò background wa, nípa lifestyle wa. A ti mọ̀ tipẹ́tipẹ́ pé ìran Yorùbá, ìran kan tí ó láìkì fàájì aláfẹ́fẹ́ ni wá. Bí aago 9:30 tó lù nísìn, aago 10:00 ni ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lè gbéra pé nítorí pé ọmọ tó ń gbáfẹ́ ni wá, mo wá fẹ́ lọ láti Èkó, mo fẹ́ lọ Ìjẹ̀bú Òde. Ṣé mọ̀ pé nísìn irú trip yẹn kò ṣe pé àwọn kan kì í rìn, and I'm not talking about àwọn tó ní nǹkan lára, just ordinary person, but it is not even that. A fẹ́ gbéra láti Èkó nísìn lọ sínú Ogun State. Kí la fẹ́ lọ mú lógun State fúnra rẹ̀? Because as far as we're concerned, after 7:00, I am not joking now, and I'm not making it up, and I purposely use Ogun State. Kí má lọ lo state kankan máa ní àwọn ṣe jẹ́ state yẹn ló lò. After 7:00, the whole town is dead. Ó tún dìgbà tílẹ̀ bá mọ́. Because àwọn ẹ̀yà yẹn wọ́n jẹ́ kó rí ayé ṣe. Àwọn ẹ̀yà tá à ń sọ yìí, ìran Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nínú the other part of àwọn ẹ̀yà tá à ń pè ní, ta fi ń sọ pé diversity. Now, the coexistence, mo fẹ́ ká take note of that word, coexistence. The coexistence. Ǹjẹ́ Yorùbá, ǹjẹ́ a wà nínú ìlú tí our trying to be coexistent? A fẹ́ wà láàrin wọn. Ǹjẹ́ àwọn tẹ̀fẹ́ wà láàrin àwa? Ǹjẹ́ àwọn tí a jọ ń sọ pé a jọ ń gbé yìí, including the Igbos, I'm not moving them away from this now, because the friction is just there. You know, the heat is there. We can feel it already in Lagos State. The Igbos are saying, oh, and destroy wa, like wa. Okay, the question is, ǹjẹ́ our coexistence? And if we are, and we are not, if we are, what can we do to keep it together? If we are not, what should we be doing right now to make sure that it doesn't explode on every one of us? Because the way things are right now, there is now what they call the conscious mind. Àwọn kan tí rí, and it has nothing to do with self-determination, but in the long run, they will start seeing it. Ṣé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣé gbogbo àjọ nílùú yìí ni? But in the reality, we are not. John Ilu, because the Yoruba land is a Yoruba land. The Igbo land is a Igbo land. The Hausa land is a Hausa land. We own the land. Does not mean that if you're going to even buy from that land, we do not have the right from it. Because I don't think as many of the Yoruba people, to Ralisi UK, you don't own that land. The land still belongs to the empire, which is God bless the king. Yes, I mean, you have the right to do whatever you want to do in that beautiful flat, but you do not own it. The question now is, our land is no longer in our own care. We have not leased it, we have literally sold it. Atita ilẹ̀ fáwọn ẹ̀yà míì. Àwọn ẹ̀yà míì ti ra lẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. And we are now asking the question that, ṣé kò ń ṣe pé tó bá di ọ̀la gan sef, tó bá sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan kan lórí ilẹ̀ yìí, we might not be able to dispute it. Okay, if they want to transform wherever they've bought and do it with anything else, in Jawama accepted. I just want us to hold on. And I'm just linking that to what is going on again in Lagos State, because there's a lot of tension going on as I speak to you in Lagos State, but that is not where we're going. Now, I've given us the background of diversity. I'm not reading the comment because I don't want to get diverted away, but if I pick one or two things, I'll be reading them out. I am now asking again the question. Now that we've got a bit of the background of diversity, what is an example of diversity in your country? Example of diversity include visible diversity such as age, ethnicity, gender, physical ability, qualities, race. Invisible diversity example are sexual orientation, educational background, and work experience. The reason why the Yorubas are saying enough of these diversity that we are living together in Nigeria, it is literally not allowing us to progress. And those behind that are the Yoruba politicians. We are not going to blame the Igbo politicians. We're not going to blame the Hausa. We're not going to blame the Fulanis. We're not going to blame any other ethnic groups. We will blame our Yoruba elite politicians that are still keeping us together in a diversity that does not work for me and you. The question then is, how do we manage to live together in this block called Nigeria? How? How do we work together with the 300 other diversity or ethnic or indigenous people? Let's now read what Shettima says. Shettima demands a more united Nigeria. Okay, so now Shettima knows that there is never a united Nigeria. So many of you, this man says our land in general is not under our control as a result of the 1999 Constitution, which is a very, very good one. Our land, ile. Yoruba nation. We are saying that right on that Yoruba territory, which is what they call the southwest part of Nigeria today. We have to take back everything. It's not about taking half of it. It's not about taking 5 of it, 6 of it. No, we take everything back. But the question people are asking is, how do you plan to take it back? On Olefigba, is it going to be through Ogun? Is it going to be through negotiation? Is it going to be through rallies? Is it going to be through how? On Olefigba, that will not create pain, that will not create havoc to the rest of Nigerians. Because we are the ones saying we want to go, apart from probably maybe the Biafrans. But within that Nigeria context today, we've seen Yoruba people that say they're not interested to go out of Nigeria. Mukibabawa Karanwe, Mukibabawa Ahmed Adewale. We have Yorubas that are saying that we will rather remain in Nigeria, remain as Nigerians, as a gay. Because I see that somebody on TikTok today sent me a message, right? Wrote on my comment, stop cursing Nigeria, leave Nigeria alone. I said, okay, you don't want to be part of what we are discussing, leave me alone as well. Because as far as I'm concerned, many of the politicians are still campaigning for one Nigeria. That is why Shettima says, let us unite. That means Shettima knows that there's nothing united in Nigeria. It's all false hope. And in Tobadet, false hope. It is important that we continue to highlight it. It is important we bring it to the fora. It is important that we discuss it. People who want to discuss not this in Nigeria. Everything has been discussed. I see different things that are not even interested has been discussed. I want to read your comments. Just give me a few minutes. Mr. Ahmed Adewale Adeleke Shettima has come with a mission. He's already implementing the threat against the Igbos in Lagos. He has vowed, which means that he has promised during the audio discussion he had with the ex-governor Ibikunle Amosun, Shettima is a very, very deceitful individual. Mokibu Walen Konsi, I welcome you. It's a live transmission. We are just less than an hour into the program. Almost just an hour right now. Sheon Lawal, good evening to you. Ade Williams, good evening to you. Good evening once again. If you're just new to the broadcast and you're not done what you're doing here, you are here because you want to be here. Moki Yawa Falash Ade Ujoeba and Ki Grandma, Tonki Grandma, thanks so much for joining us. Moki Yawa Airat Adlede Alaja Dada. Moki Bubu Muslim Association of Nigerians in UK, Moki Bubu Christian Association of Nigerians in UK. There is still a country called Nigeria, but we are not united. And if we're not united, what is the way out? Should we force ourselves to remain in Nigeria? Or should we say there is still room whether we want to remain one or not? Now, let's read what Shettima says. You don't know who Shettima is. That means you are probably not even aware of your vice president. Maybe I should just show us his picture because we are not using a software. It's difficult now since we're not using software. I cannot be showing you things like we used to do before, but hopefully that will be resolved when the time comes. So let's look at the picture just to give you an image of what Shettima looks like, Moto Internet delay. Sorry about that. So let's refresh Shettima. I was wondering why it wasn't coming up as I was typing into the Google. Shettima. Kashim Shettima. Kashim Shettima is the current vice president of Nigeria under the APC government. And that is his face there. I know it's not probably very well. It's just to show you, I'm sure some of you know who the person is. So now let's come back. My name is Olayemi Koiki, and this is Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Today is Sunday. I say happy Sunday. Many are still praying for Nigeria. Well, I'm not sure whether Nigeria, when they were creating Nigeria, there was a prayer. So the word praying for Nigeria is just a waste of time. Nobody knows before. I have asked the question on our last broadcast, which I believe was on a Friday. The question I asked is, when Ibadan created Nigeria, in Jewo pray around it? Was there any prayer around it? I don't think so. So this is what Shettima said yesterday. Vice President Kashima Shettima has demanded, that word is a very heavy word, demanded. Let's look at quickly the English dictionary for that. It's a very powerful word, demanded. So let's look at the demand. It's going to be demand, but the past participle will be demanded. So tabasokwe demand. I'm putting by me tabati promise anything one lay. I'm a funny pen. I would have there even though I feel funny, but otiwadi egbodo from you, because even though sometimes some of you demand, bomb send the see me and be money, and demand. Tabawa suffering mo ti gbowo osu. I'm wonder o ti gbowo osu báwo you be London lower. So I'm sure some of you know what that means. So sometimes you demand. Moki our grace Olushoto Ekalema Moki Bo GR1 Moki grammar demand. So but the past participle means demanded. But kí ni wọ́n pè ní? When we say command to, èèyàn lè command èèyàn, òfin kan sẹ́nu ni. Lóòótọ́ dẹ̀ ti fi nǹkan sẹ́nu. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Shettima is now demanding. Why are they worried? They are worried because there's a lot of things going on in Nigeria that make people worried. The economy is making some people to be worried. The security is making people to be worried. But what is making me and you to be worried is that diversity. That diversity has crashed after the regional government. As far as we're concerned, it has crashed. But we have been told by liars, one day that nobody knows when, we will have a beautiful diversity amongst us. The Vice President, Shima Shettima, has demanded a more united Nigeria. Let's leave it for there like that. I am now asking Nigerians, do you think that we can ever have a united Nigeria? And how? I'll ask the question again. Do you think in lọ́kàn pé a lè ever ní ìrẹ́pọ̀? Because united will be ìrẹ́pọ̀, if I'm right, in Yoruba. Ǹjẹ́ a lè ever rí ìrẹ́pọ̀ láàrin ara wa? Mo kí ìyá wa Ọlájírè Coker. Ǹjẹ́ a lè rí ìrẹ́pọ̀? So if you're one of those that are believer of one Nigeria, my question to you right now is, thanks so much, Just Reason. My question is, ǹjẹ́ a lè rí ìrẹ́pọ̀ in this diversity present day Nigeria? And please don't use God for people like us that doesn't believe in God. Because as far as I'm concerned, let me just put it, because the more Tabans are with God, some people do not believe in that your God. And I'm being honest now. You can't force Christianity on people. Neither can you force Ifa on people. Neither can you force Islam on people. There are some people that are just free thinker. Shall I for me? Man, go long, because everything in the present day Nigeria at if you're long, colon. And because we are a soft heart, Oloni, mo folon beyin, Emma Binu, mo folon beyin. And the moment people start hearing that, for a country that is so believer in that God, or more, sometimes you let loose a criminal. I don't think somebody will commit. Mumba cousin me Sorolano. Oh, I know drive 80 miles in a 70-mile zone. In Jole for long be, I want to send the tickets. Mo for long be, you might be no mistake in it. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. The rules to say 70 miles, Niko Sari, Otisa 80. Ó wá fẹ́ fi Ọlọ́run bẹ̀ wọ́n pé kó má bínú, òun fi Ọlọ́run bẹ̀ wọ́n kó jọ kó má bínú. Ṣé feel possible? The question then is, can we ever have a united Nigeria? Mr. Oluwatola Adebanjo ni Yoruba nation is the only solution for us. There's no doubt about it. Let's go further. Shettima, our vice president, only has demanded a more united Nigeria, saying that the nation's multicultural diversity, hold on to that word again, multicultural diversity should be seen as our source of strength and not division. Why is he saying that the multicultural diversity should be our strength? First and foremost, I don't have the same culture with the rest of the other ethnic diversity that he's talking about. We don't have the same culture. We have different culture. I mean, we can appreciate each other culture, but there is a big interference between the 299. We are the number 300. There's a friction between the 299 culture. Is having a big impact on the lives of my people, because my people now that believes in our own culture, which is the Yoruba deity culture, does not mean that the Christianity that has been brought to us should not be loved and respected, but we want to practice our culture just like Rishi Sunak is practicing his tradition right here in number 10 Downing Street. So why should we leave that culture and then hold on to Nigeria? Because what the Yoruba in Yoruba intention is an impression we can still remain Nigerians within that same diversity, united Nigeria. But our culture, our real identity that have been stolen by the British Empire is now giving us a big time problem. Yawa Yeti Queen went further to say, I think Shettima said it because of the ongoing crisis between the Igbos in Lagos and the Lagos state government. Thanks so much for that. Wherever or whatever the reason for Shettima to say that, it just shows that the country is inside a big problem that is just waiting to explode. But for it not to explode, what we should be asking Shettima right now is, how do we get a united Nigeria? What do we need to be doing? Oh, you want me to start making my campaign that my great-grandfather tried, but it did not work. The one that my grandmother tried, it did not work. So you want us to repeat the same thing when we have now detected that there is a friction, there is a problem between all these 300 ethnic groups merged together in the amalgamation in 1914 by the British Empire. As my auntie say again, Yeti Queen, Nigeria is permanently fragmented. And if you don't know the meaning of fragmented, I can also help us quickly in the dictionary to look at when something is fragmented. Once again, a very good evening and welcome to the live transmission. This is not your usual conversation. You have the right to stay or you have the right to walk out. But by staying, you will gain one or two things and you can take that back to the one Nigerians, especially somebody like Obasanjo. So what's the meaning of fragment? Past tense will be fragmented. When we use the word break or cause to break into fragment, the Nigeria today is breaking. Look, the reason why many Nigerians are not seeing the picture is because it is not breaking in the fast way that you will see, but the friction is there. We can feel it. Now they break, now they break Igbo house for Lagos. So, what did they happen for Lagos? Koiki, you not talk about that. What did go happen? They will break my people house, our land that we bought, blah, blah, blah. But in the first place, the land belongs to the Yoruba people. There's no doubt about it. Whatever you want to say, that territory belongs to us. It is Nigeria that was forced together by the interest of the British Empire that gave the Igbos, the Hausas, the right to even live there. Because if we don't want them to live there as a Yoruba country before them, if there was never an amalgamation, they will get a visa. They would have to get a visa to come and live there, and they will go in accordance with our rules and regulation. But because the Nigeria that we have all been together, some Yoruba sold those lands, whether illegally or not. Whether the unity is because of the friction going on in Lagos State, but there is so much that has divided us apart from what is happening in Lagos today. The one in Lagos is just also exposing the fragment of this country called Nigeria, that many Nigerians are thinking that election politics will resolve those problems. No, it will never resolve it. It's going to create more friction as years goes ahead, because many people will be looking at it and say, in Nigeria, and yes, we hold Nigeria together, but that territory doesn't belong to you. Giving a British passport to me in this country doesn't literally say that I own this country. I don't own the land. The land belongs to the king. But because that process has been taken away from our kings, every land in Yoruba land should be in care of the kings. Raleigh CB by now. If you think you can buy a land in UK, fly down here and buy that land and come and show me the evidence. You can buy a property. You don't own the land. And there's so many things that the British English are now even more concerned, because they see the foreigners as people that are now taking their own space. Now, this Shettima conversation that he wants us to be more united, a more united Nigeria. Oh, we never had problem. But the problem that we are facing today is not just Lagos issue. There are millions of problems that the British saw and gave us what they called the regional government. And I believe because we love to keep our lips moistures. So take a sip earlier on, yeah. It's just to keep it moisture, you know. I love to keep it moisture. Monkey will go and can see. We're still good, so hopefully we will be able to go to bed early, because I got another long day tomorrow. So that's why we decided to come out early. Now, this is still just one part out of the program. The second part, we'll be talking about Tinubu as literally taking Nigerians, or let me put it this way, President Bola Tinubu is leading Nigerians to their graves. I'm not the one that said so. Who said so? You'll find out in the course of this program if you're not in a hurry. My name is Olami Koiki. This is Koiki Media, bringing the word closer to your doorstep. Also, the culture minister says that we can sell the Nigerian culture. It will give us a lot of money. Which culture is he talking about? The Igbo culture, the Hausa culture, the real Nam. Good evening to you. Kola Bobo, good evening to you. And those of you on the Instagram, good evening to you. We are still on the Shettima that is now demands a more united Nigeria. And I'm asking Shettima, how is he going to unite a fragmented nation or a country called Nigeria? Because Nigeria is not a nation. A nation is the people that speak the same language, do the same thing, have the same diversity, have the same ethnic group. Does not mean that we can't have other people that live with us. I live in this country with different backgrounds of people, but the problem we are having today is that even some are now claiming our territory. Well, like I always say, we will not allow anybody to claim that territory, but we must also respect that the Nigeria today has given room to so much nonsense on our own space. But that doesn't mean that the Yoruba people are stupid. But we can also say that this shows that we are just living in lies. The Igbos buy house in Lagos, and why are they not going to buy house in Southeast? Why must they go and buy house in Southeast if Lagos is viable for them? Why do you think that? I mean, are you stupid? I mean, why do you think I don't want to go to Nigeria? Because this place is still comfortable for me. It's as simple as that. People stay wherever they feel comfortable. People build wherever they feel comfortable. People want to live in a place where there is security and they can make a return. If they think that they can make a return in the Southeast, I'm sure they would have invested in the Southeast. Lagos, again, has been put at that point for Nigeria. Maybe they should have opened the Warri port. Maybe they should have opened more ports and allow people to move their goods straight into those regions than bringing it to Apapa. So there's a lot of things that have gone wrong in the country in the last 63 years. Maybe now everybody's waking up. And the reason why we're waking up is the social media We don't need NTA to talk to anybody. Before you have to go and knock on NTA, and NTA say, no, Koiki, self-determination, I can't talk about it too. I don't need Channels Television. I don't need Arise. I don't need any one of them. I don't need CNN. The little that you can grab from here, you grab from there, you grab from there, you add it together and see whether it works for you. And again, just reason say Peter Obi article could not have done any better job than Tinubu. Nigeria is not working. It's too much for any individual at the top to solve the problems at hand. Mr. Ahmed, thank you so much. Keep the comment coming. I'll pick them along the line. Once again, a very good evening. So it went further. Shettima said that the administration of President Bola Tinubu recognized the roles of the traditional institution. That is a lie. Okay? And I'll tell you why quickly. The traditional institution, from what we were told, they said Obasanjo destroyed, but whoever destroyed, they destroyed from the end goal of the creation of what is not a country. The moment during the slave trade, people were selling each other for money purpose, and they were making good money out of it. Yoruba kings were selling their people, the people were selling each other. The European took advantage of that. Then after the war, they said, no, slave trade don't finish, even though we know it's a lie. Slave trade is still going on. Then what happened? They amalgamated the country. So the royal institution has been completely taken away from us. Why is there monarchy system operating in UK and we don't have the same operating in Nigeria? Our kings are just figurehead as far as we're concerned. They don't have any special role that they are playing. Even the local government is much as powerful than them. Because how would a king own the territory where he governs, but he doesn't have a say? He doesn't run the budget. He doesn't even approve who is there. Tinubu says in Osun State that he's more richer than the king in Osun State. And I'm wondering, where did he make his money from? I mean, the kings own the territory that Tinubu is talking about, but Tinubu controls everything in Lagos that gave him the opportunity to become so powerful, and they call him Jagaban. Tinubu will never say to King Charles that he's richer than him, because King Charles owns the entire empire here in the part that he governed. So when Shettima says that the administration of President Bola Tinubu recognized the roles of the traditional ruler, is actually saying that that role is to continue to convince the Yoruba people, tell them that we are better off in Nigeria than those of us now that are saying we are not better off in Nigeria. So, iṣẹ́ àwọn ọba ni pé intention ya yé wa, I understand, but ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe sùúrù. And that goes on. And that's why the kings have kept very quiet. They've not said much. They've kept quiet because they are part of the system. They are part of the system that have made the Yoruba people who we are today. They are not speaking out. They don't have the balls to speak and partially lori, because people like Tinubu, that Shettima is saying that, Shettima said that the administration of President Bola Tinubu recognized the roles of the traditional institution in navigating the interests of the country's diversity, and would therefore always prioritize activities that are designed to celebrate the rich cultural heritage of all tribes in the country. So again, Shettima is aware that there's different tribes, there's different people, but we should remain one and keep it going. My question is, we don't want to remain one. We want to unbundle it and turn it into smaller unit, and then work with that space of the smaller unit with the other ones that breaks away from it. And don't come and tell us it's going to take longer before Nigeria will eventually dissolve. It will dissolve faster when the message gets into the right people, as we continue the Yoruba Nation campaign, the Biafra campaign, the Arewa campaign, the Middle Belt. Those that are still shouting that they want to restructure Nigeria, they will never get it. Eventually, everybody will come back. The last laugh for the Yoruba is, as Tinubu is running the government, by the time he completes his tenure, God's willing, if there's nothing that happened to him, which we don't pray, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, we pray for Tinubu to die. You're crazy. Okay? Because Tinubu dies, Shettima takes over straight away. You'll be stupid for me to say that. Okay? So if you're one of those that think you come here and come and listen to Tinubu, yeah, I have the right to question him. I have the right to tell him that, look, if he wants to be the last president, he should give a referendum and let everybody go their separate ways. Do I trust that? I don't. Do I think Tinubu has the balls to do so? I don't think so. But I might be wrong. Shettima actually spoke yesterday during the 37th annual Akeson Day held at the Christ Apostolic Grammar School, Iperu, Remo, the hometown of Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun. The event also had the attendance of all the rubbish House of Representatives or blah, 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 which they're all for 19. Senator, the one that left Alimosho, made a lot of money, become a big man with a lot of convoy, is now back again representing Ogun West, and I call him another Yoruba criminal called Olamilekan Adeola, popularly known as Yayi. They're all criminals as far as I'm concerned. So we've got that bit. We've spent 1 hour, 24 minutes on that. Again, the question to Mofeka Mulo, Lale, can this government, Shettima and Tinubu, tell Nigerians how they plan to unite us? How? On Olofegba. Let's move to the next one, which is going to take us probably at 11 o'clock. I bring the program to an end. And I say thank you so much, those of you that have joined us. The next one I want to talk about is the ex-governor, Sule Lamido. They're all the same. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, when politicians are looking for something, they'll tell you all kind of crabs. President Tinubu is leading Nigerians to their graves. Well, Atiku will have done the same thing. Tinubu is just already in the grave. We told Nigerians already, but Nigerians do not want to accept that Nigeria is now a Titanic that has sunk. President Bola Tinubu is leading Nigerians to their graves because he continued from where Buhari stopped. Ex-governor Sule Lamido. The former governor mentioned this in an extensive interview with Daily Trust, adding that Tinubu's performance so far has shown that he veered for the presidency to continue from the bad leadership structures led by President Muhammadu Buhari. PDP wouldn't have done anything different. Neither Peter Obi would have done anything different. I even pity all. You think that Tinubu would be stupid to allow Peter Obi to become the president while Buhari knew that the arrangement was for Bola Tinubu to be the next president, even though Buhari wanted to give Tinubu some kind of ifase. Ofe yoni, ofe yochi alese. Tinubu ni ma rántí pé ni mo gbé ẹ wọlé, èmi ló kàn. Bàbá yóò ti gbàgbé ni, èmi náà fi jẹ kíní náà, gbé kíní wá. So if anybody thought that Peter Obi was working genuinely, you might want to ask our former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. What was the discussion with him and Peter Obi after Peter Obi came to London? A lot of Nigerians do not know what is going on behind the scene. All you see is just what is happening in the face of you. There's a lot of dealings that happen. Look, it doesn't cost Peter Obi anything to come out and say he wants to be the president and just use that to divert your mind. There's a lot of shit that goes on in this world. So if you're still one of those and you come to Boya, you don't even know the agenda that even Tinubu has himself. Never trust any of these African politicians. So whatever the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, is saying tonight, well, it's just saying that because they are still bitter that they couldn't get that power back. After Jonathan, that could have kept the power. Jonathan had the opportunity, but Nigeria would have gone into another more crisis. That was why they brought in more of the jihadis to fight on their behalf. But Jonathan said, I don't want the blood of Nigeria to spill, So he eventually left power for Buhari. A former Jigawa state governor, Sule Lamido, has noted that President Bola Tinubu will soon lead Nigeria to total destruction. The country is already in total destruction. Many Nigerians, their hope, their dreams is that one day Nigeria will get to where they want it to be. But in the nutshell, Tinubu or not Tinubu, Nigeria is a dead country already. It is a dead country that we are managing for the last 40 years. The military took advantage. They could not account for anything. That's why, $5 billion of Nigerian money was out of Nigeria, because there was no way you would question somebody like Abacha. It will kill you. Abacha had a lot of slaughter room. But because we are now in a fake democracy, many Nigerians think they are operating in democracy and they speak big grammar. You go on LinkedIn, you go on Twitter, and you see people, they say we're economics. We're going to solve, the gigantic problem of Nigeria. And you know that they're lying, because, some of them that are living in Nigeria, they're probably not even enjoying Nigeria, but they're living in this cocoon. Experts are now trying to solve the bad leadership structure. There's never been a leader, because, again, there will never be one leader, because onírúurú ni wá, ẹ̀yà ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wá. Ẹ̀yà kan fẹ́ ṣe, ó jẹ́ kẹ́yà kan rí ṣe. Even maybe the Igbos might have the best brain, but they're not going to give them the opportunity. The Hausa might have the best brain, but who is going to allow them? So that is why that diversity is not working, and it will never work. So if you are still in the loop that you will get a better Nigeria, let me tell you, they will use all your time. And that time means that you will become old at the point of your death. And I'm using this analogy because Moke TJ Baba, once again, thank you so much, Sister Buki. My grandmother died at the age of 90. And I bet you, if I had the opportunity to meet her just before she died, and maybe some of you that still have your grandmothers in the 90s, if you're still opportune to have your grandparents right now, can you ask them what has been their gain since this country, Nigeria, they've lived for the past 9 decades? And come back next time we're live and put it in the comment section. Don't give us a story, because whoever is in their 90 today that is still in support of one Nigeria, people like, our fathers, there's still some of our fathers, like the Afeniferis, they're in their 90s. They want to restructure Nigeria that they know that is a lie, because these men are now very old, and they are now telling me and you in our 40 that don't worry, we could not finish the job, but you all will finish the job. Do you know that by the time you wake up, you will also be 90, you'll be telling your grandchildren the same thing? So it is better now. Come up our comfort, Nikki. Okay, easy. Or better, we wind it down. Yawa awoni grandma support, the country is already destroyed. So what the former governor Lamido should be telling us is, how did he manage his own state if he's not one of those criminals that is now trying to point finger that look, Tinubu has a lot of people to defend him. I am not here to defend Tinubu, because as far as I'm concerned, they are all the same bunch of politicians that knows that the diversity is not working. Shettima is pleading now, let us unite. Let us have a united Nigeria. The Biafra said, no, we don't want a united Nigeria. We want to exit this shit old country called Nigeria, because we're a country. A country where a 13 years old was massacred. Details of what they took out of her body cannot even quantify I mean, they stripped almost every part of our body. This happened in Yoruba land less than 72 hours ago, from what I read or what I listened to on the DK show. I posted that on my Twitter. You might want to click on that if you're Omo Yoruba Kelogbo and you cry. It's not just that is happening. There are so many things that will not change should we remain as a one block called Nigeria. But those of you that are still in your 30s, in your 40s, like myself, Sherry and Ottawa in their 20s, those ones do not understand anything. As far as they're concerned, they are just Nigerians. So, all they're interested in, how they want to become a celebrity, overnight. How they want to become, that influencer overnight. Especially they are at advantage of the new social media that can turn you into a millionaire depending on whatever you're doing. Look, you can become millionaire on the social media if you know what you're doing. But 40 upwards, if you're still in that thinking, Nigeria it will work, I bet you will be 60, 70, 80, and you will be repeating the same thing. A former Jigawa state governor, Sule Lamido, has noted that President Bola Tinubu will soon lead Nigeria to total destruction. My question to Sule Lamido is, has Nigeria not been led to total destruction since 1960? Or should we take it back to 1914? Nigeria has been led to a total destruction ever since it was merged by the British Empire. Excuse me. Considering how his policies have worsened social economic problems in the country, can Sule Lamido, which I believe is one of the governors of the PDP, can he tell us how 16 years of the PDP was managed? But the policies that this another Fulani man, because I believe it's another Fulani man, I don't think he's an Hausa man if we go deep into his background. Sule Lamido. I'm sure another Fulani man, Bororo. Moriembe, easy. I'm asking the question now. Ǹjẹ́ Sule Lamido ó lè sọ fún wa bí wọ́n ṣe manage affairs of the PDP for 6 years during the Jonathan, from the Yaradua to Obasanjo? Can he come out and tell Nigerians? But it is easy for them today to want to shift all the blame on Bola Tinubu's government. Bola Tinubu himself is only there just to be recognized, so that anytime even the country breaks, one day they will remember that Bola Tinubu was once time a president as well. And if you're still new to the platform, you've never heard about Avon. Well, Koiki Media is now a partner to Avon. It has nothing to do with Yoruba Nation. It's just part of an organization that has now partnered with another organization where you can buy, as many of anything you can think of. And for every time you buy from them using my own link, you know what that means. I would also be looked after. So why not? If that is something that you can buy from. This specifically, if I'm in the UK, if you're in any other country, I'm sorry, it's not going to work for you. But if you're in UK, you can ask me for the link and I'll share that link with you as well. You can also remember to follow all our platforms. Sometimes we go live, and that live will literally not come into another live in your own Facebook. You might end up watching what we called a video that I have now recorded during a live and then posted. But if you want to make sure that anytime that Koiki Media is live, 2 areas that you will always know that we are live is the backup YouTube channel. We've had enough from the Koiki Media, which is a very strong platform for the Yoruba Nation with about 42.9 thousand K subscriber. We're still building that. we are now also building another platform. So you will always get us on the WD76 media. But most importantly, there's no way I go live. I use at least 4 different platforms to go live automatically. But most importantly, I can tell you with 500,000 of my followers on the social media, on Facebook, that number has been turned down drastically. It's because my message should not be listened to by 500,000 people every day. Nigeria will go bust. So they're all working partner to partner with a criminal country called Nigeria. Lai Mohammed tried, just like the Bash, Nnamdi Kanu, just like the Bash, Simon Ekpa, and many of us campaign on the self-determination. And I'm not just talking about those two alone, but there's so many other countries that people are also restricted on the social media space. The message that we give is the only truth and nothing but the truth. If you're waiting for anybody to tell you anything apart from what we are telling you, you are living in a different world entirely. And I know that because I have lived in Europe for the last 25 years. This is not a platform that talks. There's a lot of platforms. I'm watching right now. There's one right now. I'm not going to mention the name. It's about almost 932 people watching it. That one is just gist and gossip. We don't do gossip here. One day, attendon she gossip. When the right time comes, they will not even have time for gossip anymore. But that time hasn't arrived in Nigeria today because there is so much that Nigerians are still using to leverage. The moment that leverage doesn't get there, the pounds, as I speak to you today, has not dropped to 1,200 in the last May 29 that Bola Tinubu came to power. It has literally remained above 1,200. And I've been studying it. As of today, it is still 1,450 naira to 1 pound. So that means I have 1,500 here. That literally gives me 1 pound. I'll probably get a 50 naira change. So if you're one of those thinking that Bola Tinubu destroyed Nigeria, no, Bola Tinubu hasn't destroyed Nigeria yet. Nigeria will be much more destroyed as Bola Tinubu even exit Nigeria. By the time he leaves Nigeria, it will be much more problem. So Lamido, or whatever his name is, thank you so much, Yawani. Sule Lamido is one of the destroyers of the country, so he should not even go there. Like I said, we don't need to defend Bola Tinubu's presidency. But we know that the North are playing that card. And what is the card? Continue to push it in the minds of Nigerians that Bola Tinubu have destroyed Nigeria. No. Bola Tinubu does not destroy Nigeria. He hasn't done anything yet. Buhari took over another Eyami Oniruru that we talked about at the beginning of the program. Buhari did his best. Bola Tinubu has come to tell us now that Buhari bankrupted Nigeria. Lamido is not telling us, I might touch on that a little bit, before we go. What David Cameron talked about as Nigeria as an Islamic country. I did a program on that already, but I'm going to have to do another program that will be full conversation on that. So this former Jigawa governor, Sule Lamido, noted that President Bola Tinubu will soon lead Nigeria to total destruction. It's a lie. Nigeria has been in a total destruction, but many Nigerians are not feeling it because, like I said, there's people doing different things. Look, as I speak to you tonight, Nigeria is still a funny place. There's fun going on there. Look, the life that people are living in Nigeria today, even in the midst of the misery, is still far better than the life that some of us are living here. And I'm not joking now, because I know it's a bit late in Nigeria now, it's about 11:30. But to be honest with you, you still have a better quality life. The only difference that you are not seeing that quality life is the economy of the country is biting, the insecurity, the welfare, the education. So telling us that we should accept that Tinubu has destroyed Nigeria. No, Tinubu hasn't destroyed Nigeria yet. But by the time Tinubu comes out of the government, there will be much more worse And maybe that because the faith that they have in Tinubu, I just pray some of you do not have heart attack. We are just about 1 hour 38 minutes into our program, or 1 hour 45 minutes. I still welcome you, those of you that have joined us. We'll keep up our Kende Osedi, Babawa Banjo Sunday. If you have not followed this program before, you're just new, you're passing by, maybe you can just say, thank you so much. At least it's a different thing from what you've listened to in the past. And if you're a follower of this platform, Kunle Bakers, thank you so much. And the rest of you, you can as well say, are we united in Nigeria? Ask yourself that question. Don't ask me. Are we united? Oh, because we play football together, you think we are united. Or because you don't marry Chinyeri, you think we are united. Or because you eat ogbono, you like amala, you like tuwo, we are never united. Does not mean that we cannot manage to be together. But present Nigeria today, thank you so much, Mr. Tosin Afolabi. The present Nigeria today has literally shown, Moriembe Plan B, Ogumola said, Nigeria is not united in the first place. Akin Games sent me a message, about culture. They want to sell our culture. Which culture? So I want to complete that part and then move swiftly to the next one. Once again, the former governor mentioned this in an extensive interview with Daily Trust, adding that Tinubu's performance so far had shown that he veered for the presidency to continue from the bad leadership structure led by President Muhammadu Buhari. Sule Lamido, also a former foreign affairs minister from the 1999 to 2003, a member of the PDP, People's Democratic Party, said Tinubu came and said he will continue from where Buhari stopped. So the next destination is our grave. If Atiku has taken over, it would have been much more graver, quicker than even Tinubu. They are all a bunch of the same politicians that are using what they called the game, divert our mind from the reality. The reality is that the country has failed. It has failed woefully, and nothing can revive it back. Many of you do not agree with us. Many of you do not believe us, but we are not here to force anybody. Isa Olaide Mokinye ma binu yawa ashati she mo she rishe takuntakun ti e ti she kalẹ̀ sí liwa, because mo ní láti wá sórí another screen láti rí ẹ kó ètò ẹ sọ pé ẹ kúṣẹ́ takuntakun bàbá mi Elédùmarè wà pẹ̀lú bàbá Wàsíù Bọ́lárìnwá mo fi tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ kí mo kí Ọkọ̀yà Fọláyan. I don't even like to use that phrase, till Kine can come back, Nigeria can never united. Till Obama come back, Nigeria will never united. Ashati Shele Yoruba, thank you so much. Kudos to all our media that are working tirelessly, and those of you that are just like Koiki or Nawogon Lafigba. I'm going to touch on a little bit of the discussion from Babakito yesterday. I'm not going to go into all the full details. It was a very fruitful conversation with myself. Many stakeholders were there. Like I always say, I am just opportune out of many Yoruba people. When Babakito especially sent those kind of invitation to me, we couldn't transmit it because it was not meant for a live program. So, but a bit of brief of what I think I can tell you, and the Timoni Latisonese will leave it to Babakitoye release a communique. So now that we've talked about Sule, Lamido, I've talked about Shettima, let's talk about the culture. The culture minister, Barrister Anatu Musawa, was appointed as the Nigerian culture minister. That means we offer culture. They want to sell our culture. So they want to sell the Yoruba culture, the 300 and ethnic groups culture, so that we can keep money coming into the country. Many Nigerians are not worried. All they just want to do, they want to make money. They want to live a good life. But why are you not concerned that in the next 100 years, because whether we like it or not, end of kunoni, we pray for good life before we die. We pray that we can have a good opportunity before we die. Some opportunity might not happen in our lifetime. It could be our grandchildren. But why do you want to lose a whole who you are as an indigenous people because of Nigeria. That is just what I want us to keep in our conscious mind. That word, the indigenous people, is much powerful than the Nigeria that some of you are trying to stick onto. I am not saying that you shouldn't, want to love Nigeria for one reason or the other, but we're talking about the future, because the future that some of the people that you are thinking, it could even be the Igbos, it could be the Hausas, it could be the other ethnic groups. Should we be concerned? Oh, yes, we must be concerned. As Yoruba people, we must open our eyes. We must shine our eyes. The English people are now coming out frequently, keeping that to the conscious mind of the English, that the way this country is going, the demographic change within the next 50 years is going to happen. And we are seeing it gradually, especially in town urban bimo, and bimo nibe. So what we need to do is we want to accept people in our territory, but we should be able to take a full total control. We don't want a control from the fake country called Nigeria. Nigeria is just a country. It is not a nation. A nation are people that speak the same language, have the same culture, have the same thing together. We don't have that. But we are now told by Barrister Anato Musawa, the culture minister, that Nigeria target an ambitious 100 billion GDP as it unveils creative sector for roadmap. Nigeria has set up an ambitious goal to boost the art, culture, and creative economy contribution to the GDP to the 10%. I talked about this during the, we're just half an hour into the end of the program, time conscious. Now, Mufi Biwani again, which of the culture is she trying to sell? Is it the Nigerian culture? So it shows that the world Nigeria doesn't have its own culture, but the ethnic groups, the indigenous people, we are the one that owns the culture that they're talking about. So the Nigerian federal government has set forth an ambitious goal to boost the art, culture, and creative economic contribution to the GDP to 10% and increase the sector economic output to 100 billion by 2030. Even if they get to this, Nigeria will never still be united. Even if they sell our culture, how they're going to sell it, what they plan to do, I don't know. But even if Toba try it, it will never give us that. So I'm going to leave that now, and then I'm just going to give us, thank you so much, Easy Dollar. Appreciate you for your love all the time. Now, for the last half an hour that I have, which will take us to about 2.5 hours to the program, what took place yesterday. Baba Kitoye held a meeting with Awakon. I'm going to try and speak in Yoruba now. Not everybody was there. It was a very fruitful one. Very, very fruitful. Sherry, I'm famous because being concerned lawyer, and Baba Kitoye did the so because upper week me. In todas of Nigeria has dragged our people into poverty. So lano ìpàdé yẹn ó lọ dáadáa àdúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Thanks so much TJ Baba. Ìpàdé yẹn ìpàdé àlàáfíà, ìpàdé tí mo lè fi mú wá fún ọmọ Yorùbá tí mo bá tẹ̀ sọ gbogbo tó lọ nínú ẹ̀ torí kò ń ṣe gbogbo tó lọ nínú ìpàdé yẹn ni a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ síta nísìn. Communique máa jáde tí a máa kà síta at some point, but ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan ni wọ́n ti ń jiggle around. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa security, mọ̀ ní mẹ́nu lọ túpọ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àgbẹ̀. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn Jewish funding. Ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn Jew náà ní fund tí wọ́n fi operate for a very long time. In táwọn ò tí ì ní, òun ni pé every time mo dẹ̀ like tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ lánàá, we should not be shy. A gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ pé a nídìí owó láti fi ṣe Yorùbá nation. Tábà ní a nídìí owó kíníkan à ń tanra wa ni. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ owó tí wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ létà tó máa ṣe communicate lórí kò ń ṣe owó ògì, owó ẹ̀wà, owó kúlíkúlí, no. We're talking about owó tó máa ṣàǹfààní títí tá máa fi débi tá à ń lọ yẹn. But wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ mú structure pé owó tá fẹ́ gbà yìí o, because látijọ́ nísìn wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa YSDM. Like I said, gbogbo nǹkan kan ni máa sọ níbí ìbàlálẹ̀ torí pé wọ́n fún mi ní authority pé ká sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ jáde. Ìwọ̀nba tí kan touch, mo kàn fún yín ní area gbogbo bí tí bá ti sọ yẹn, á jẹ́ pé àwọn ibi tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ lọ nìyẹn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn béèrè ìbéèrè. Kódà àwọn kan tún ní ǹjẹ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ kan tún wà tó ti override àwọn ẹgbẹ́ kan tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀, gẹ́gẹ́ báwọn ṣe ń gbọ́ ní gbogbo platforms, títí kan pé wọ́n ní ẹgbẹ́ kan tó dálẹ̀ tó jẹ́ ti bàbá Akíntóyè àti ti bàbá wa Olóyè Ìgbòho. But èyí tí mo kàn fẹ́ kó tó gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá létí ní wákàtí ni pé bàbá wa the oracle himself, tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, still remain the leader. Kò ṣe fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá o, torí pé àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re àwọn bára wọn jà, wọ́n ti pín sí méjì báyìí. Pa Reuben Fásọ̀rántì àti bàbá Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ. Mo dẹ̀ gbọ́ interview kan, but màá sọ̀rọ̀ lórí interview yẹn kò ṣe nísìn, tí mo gbọ́ lọ́dọ̀ yàn kan tí wọ́n ní acting ní bàbá Adébánjọ, but ibi tí mo fẹ́ lò kọ́ nìyẹn. Lórí bàbá tí wà lèmi ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìyẹn bàbá Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè. The most important thing tó tún sọ ni pé táwọn èèyàn béèrè pé ìjà lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjọba tiwa náà in a way. Like I said, mo kàn fún yín ní highlight. I won't give you all the details, like I said, until there's going to be a communique. Àwọn èèyàn béèrè nípa how do we keep the awareness going? Ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa rédíò tí ó ti wà in operation and how it can help. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa the diplomatic push. Ṣé rí diplomatic àti pressure group. I think I had a word pressure group from someone. There are some people that are very powerful in this world, whether we agree or not. Some of them might be interested to back this movement, whether the international side or the local side within Africa or within Europe, Asia. But we must make sure that we also present our case to them. We must have some committees of people, whether they have been there before or not. But I'm just saying that some of the questions that we can pull out in this particular, program to Lolano. It wasn't a live program, it didn't go live. That it is time that we have people láti máa lọ bá àwọn ọba láti lọ máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìdí tí ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ pull out kúrò ní Nàìjíríà, nípa àwọn politicians bó ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ pull out kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. All these were part of the almost 2 hours. I didn't go into all the details, but this what I call the snip view, so that when tẹ́yìn bá wọn rò pé ẹ̀gbọ́n kankan gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe rí báyìí ó ṣe quiet báyìí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, Even they talked about the YSDM as well. There's some few things that they talked about the YSDM. Like I said, I'm not going into all the details. The YSDM was mentioned. They also talked about the media, which is the most area, Timothy specifically, Lori. Shari Babakitoye understand the power of the media. Àwọn ọlọ́pẹ̀ ní media, àwa tá n campaign pé fáwọn èèyàn pé Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. It is important that we don't deviate away from that message. Very, very important. Ó ṣe kókó pé lórí pé a fẹ́ Yorùbá nation náà ní ká dúró lé lórí. But there must be the message of consistent. Kí ni consistent? I've talked about 3 areas lálẹ́ yìí. Ẹni tó bá ní làákàyè tó bá wo ọ̀rọ̀ mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta tí mo gbé kalẹ̀ lálẹ́ yìí, diversity wa, ṣé a ní diversity nínú Nàìjíríà gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá? Mo rò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n náà fẹ́ unity. Ǹjẹ́ unity wà? Kò possible. Wọ́n ní Nàìjíríà ti wà pé Tinubu máa destroy Nàìjíríà ń kó wa lọ sínú grave. Nàìjíríà fúnra rẹ̀ ti wà nínú grave. Ó ti wà buried. But àwa tá jẹ́ èèyàn náà ẹ̀ á gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kó sin wá mọ́ Nàìjíríà. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá lálẹ́ wọ́n ti sin wá mọ́nu Nàìjíríà, a gbọ́dọ̀ pull out kúrò nínú ẹ̀. Economic wise, kò sí nǹkan kan tẹ́ni kankan lè ṣe láti revive Nàìjíríà. Security wise, kò lè rí ṣe. Welfare, education. Ìtàn ṣe ni pé wọ́n fi Nàìjíríà play kàlòkàlò. Wọ́n fi Nàìjíríà play ludo. Kódà mo fẹ́ lè ní wọ́n fi Nàìjíríà play snake and ladder. Àwa ń ṣe tá à ń pè ní èyí jẹ èyí ò jẹ. Ibi tílẹ̀ ṣúdé lálẹ́ nísìn, ẹ jẹ́ ká wá sí the local level. Ta ló operate local government tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ níbi tílẹ̀ ṣúdé lálẹ́? Ta ló máa mú tó máa hold ọ̀tún láti ẹ̀mí tọ́pẹ́ mú kí Jésù nìkan lọ́ba ẹ̀kálẹ̀? Ta ló máa mú as tó máa wà responsible fún gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú local government ọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀, láti Kwara wá sí Kogi, lọ sí Ondo, Èkìtì, Ọ̀ṣun, Ọ̀yọ́, Ògùn àti Lagos State. Ní gbogbo state mo dárúkọ yẹn, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní gbogbo ẹ̀. 191 local government la ní, ìyẹn ti calculate gbogbo ẹ̀. Mo mọ̀ lórí nísìn. Now, ǹjẹ́ local government yẹn, ǹjẹ́ òun rí àwọn ẹ̀yà onírúurú míì tẹjọ́ ń gbé, tẹjọ́ ń sùn, tẹjọ́ ń jí tó yàtọ̀ sáwọn tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ ní gbogbo state yẹn, gbogbo local government? Yes, wà máa rí wọn. Now, ǹjẹ́ protection wà pé àwọn ẹ̀yà tẹjọ́ ń gbé yẹn, and I'm not talking about Lagos State now, mo ń sọ nípa gbogbo ilẹ̀ wa. Ǹjẹ́ probability wà pé ìjọ kan lè wà àwọn ẹ̀yà yìí ló máa di local government chairman? Tó ń ṣàwà ni mo ń sọ. Àwọn ẹ̀yà ẹlòmíì tí kò ń ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá. Ǹjẹ́ o lè accept ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé okay, kò má tàṣí bí gbogbo ẹjọ́ wa ní Nàìjíríà ni? Tẹ bá ń rí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbì kan tó pọ̀ síbẹ̀, ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àwọn bòmíì. Ó wá jẹ́ pé faces àwọn tá à ń rí ní ti bòmíì yẹn ó máa yàtọ̀ sí ti bòmíì. And I'll give you an example now. Èyí tá à ń rí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní South West nísàlẹ̀ ní gbogbo Lagos, àwọn ẹ̀yà tá dámọ̀ ni la ṣe ń sọ pé àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò lélẹ́yìí. Àwọn tá àdámọ̀ tó wà ní òkè Ògùn tí wọ́n ti ń overrun wa díẹ̀díẹ̀, kí lẹ rò pé ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀? This is the reason why tí Bàbá Akíntóyè ṣe ń sọ pé àwa Yorùbá àjọṣe wa pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà kò work. Àárín wa àti Nàìjíríà kò gún mọ́rán, kò dán mọ́rán rárá. Ibi tílẹ̀ ṣúdé lálẹ́ nísìn, ìyà tó ń jọmọ Yorùbá, ìdí kan tó yà tí ń jẹ wá àtèmi àtiwọ́ kò ju pé torí Nàìjíríà tá wà lọ. Ìjọ tá bá ti kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, tá láǹfààní àti kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, ìyà yẹn máa dínkù, ó dẹ̀ máa dínkù very very fast. Ìjọ tá bá ti lè make that right decision, tá bá ti make that right decision láti exit Nigeria, we will be better off and things will move very very smoothly. But if you are still of the view pé ká ṣì wà nínú Nàìjíríà nítorí ìwọ fúnra rẹ̀ gan mọ reason tó ṣe ní ká wà Nàìjíríà, ẹlòmíì mọ reason, wọ́n bí mi sínú Nàìjíríà, okay, wọ́n bí ẹ sínú Nàìjíríà, but the history tí ó wà ń bẹ̀ ni pé bíbí sínú Nàìjíríà yẹn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló bí ẹ sí, but Nàìjíríà ti gba identity mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Instead of kó máa pè wá lọ́mọ Yorùbá, tó bá jẹ́ pé òyìnbó amalgamate location yẹn, tó bá ṣe ń bí wa, wọ́n bí ọmọ yẹn sínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá as a Yorùbá nation, but lẹ́nu nísìn tó bá bí wa sínú ẹ̀ nísìn wọ́n bí ọmọ tuntun sínú Nàìjíríà, kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀. Àwọn òyìnbó tá à ń pè ní Britain, àwọn ló colonize wa. Nígbà tó colonize wa tán, àwọn ló change orúkọ yẹn kúrò látara Yorùbá kingdom là ń jẹ́ ní empire kan là ń jẹ́ ní nǹkan kan là ń jẹ́, àwọn ló transform it. And the only way we can stop it now is to return back. Àwọn tó wá ń béèrè pé ọ̀nà wo lẹ fẹ́ gbà, ọ̀nà wo gangan la fẹ́ gbà, ọ̀nà tá lè gbà, ọ̀nà yẹn pín sí oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà. Ọ̀nà táwa ń lò ní ìlànà tí bàbá Akíntóyè kò ń ṣe jàgídíjàgan. A máa gbé kùmọ̀, a máa gbé kóńdó, a máa fọ́gi mọ́yàn lórí. Ọ̀nà tá à ń sọ ni pé àwọn èèyàn wa kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ pé a fẹ́ lọ kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. Àwọn èèyàn wa kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ní ìmọ̀ tó dẹ̀ lè ní náà ni pé kí ló dé tí nǹkan ṣe wọ́n, kò ń ṣe torí Tinubu nìkan ṣe wọ́n, ìtorí pa ṣì wà nínú ẹ̀yà kan tó ń fi tiẹ̀ kó bá wa. Because ní gbogbo àgbáyé, tẹ́ bá lọ sórí YouTube channel wa kan tí a ní níjẹta ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá yìí, wọ́n send fídíò bí wọ́n ṣe ń gba milk, tí wọ́n wá ra milk yẹn nínú farm yẹn. Nígbà tó bá ra milk yẹn tán, wá gbé lọ síbi tó ti máa process ẹ̀, wá sọ di cheese. Àwọn tó ní farm yẹn wọ́n kó màálù jáde kó lọ máa jẹ oko lóko. Ìyẹn is just one out of the many problems tí Nàìjíríà tí àwọn Yorùbá tá ń face. Economic wise, wọ́n ti gba power kúrò lọ́wọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá. Olórí tó wà ń bẹ̀ nísìn ọmọ Yorùbá ni no. Power structure wa kò sí ní ọwọ́ wa nítorí pé olórí tó wà níbẹ̀ nísìn 1999 constitution ló fi ń govern. Kò ń ṣe constitution Yorùbá ló fi ń govern. Kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe constitution kan tó favour wa. This is a constitution that is known as a military dictate. Àwọn tó gbé constitution yẹn wọ́n ṣe fún àǹfààní ẹ̀mí àti àǹfààní ara wọn ni wọ́n ṣe fún. So tí wọ́n bá wá ń wo pé ọ̀nà wo lèmi náà máa fi dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí, tiẹ̀ ni pé ẹ̀yin náà sọ fún ẹni tí kò tí ì gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí, ǹjẹ́ gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀yà tó wà nù Nàìjíríà yìí, ǹjẹ́ gbogbo wa lè gbé nígbé àlàáfíà? Tá bá ti mọ̀ pé àwa lè gbé nígbé àlàáfíà, kó olúkálùkù ṣe kíni, kó dọ́mú ìyá ẹgbẹ́, kí ìlú yẹn kó ṣe kíni, kó pín sọ́nà ìyà tó bá lè pín sí. Àwọn kan ní sọ́nà mẹ́ta ló fẹ́ pín, kò bá pín sọ́nà mẹ́wàá. Bọ̀ káwa Yorùbá, ìran ọmọ aládé, ká kúrò nínú ibi tá à ń pè ní Nàìjíríà nísìn. Ibi tá a máa mú ọ̀rọ̀ dé lálẹ́ yìí, òun láti sọ yìí. Kò wá ń ṣe ní nìkan là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ojoojúmọ́ lásìkò tí a ní time, but lágbára Elédùmarè tó máa fi di in the new year bá ti ṣe sọ, àwọn ọmọ wa máa bá wa ṣe program tó máa ní time yàtọ̀ sí ìwé mi tó yẹ pé I can come out anytime. Ìtàn ilé ṣe ni láti fi lè máa gbọ́ program Yorùbá Nation. Òun ni pé kẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn ṣẹ́rí mídíà oríṣiríṣi ló wà. Mo sọ fún yín pé program kan lọ lọ́wọ́ nísìnyí, mo fi dárúkọ arábìnrin yẹn ìrókò bẹ́ẹ̀ dìbà ìtàwọn sọ gossip ni tẹ́ bá lọ síbòmí náà ìtàn sọ oríṣiríṣi lórúkálukú sọ, and it is a new world that we are living. But for us to have a strong Yoruba economy, for us to have a strong Yoruba policy, for us to be respected, níta àti nínú ilé, we must not remain in Nigeria. The longer tẹ́ bá dúró sínú Nigeria, kò sí nǹkan tẹ́lẹ̀. Ẹ forget it, gbogbo ni mo fi sọ, kò sádùúrà kankan tó lè ṣe nínú church àbí mọ́ṣáláṣí àbí àwọn babaláwo, irọ́ ni gbogbo ẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria ó ti kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀. I am not talking now from the spiritual side. The spiritual side of things, that country will break. Time to fail break ni gbogbo ọmọ. Time to not dismantle àmọ́. But at some point in our lifetime, àwa ò tún gbọ́dọ̀ wá dúró pé bí bàbá Professor Banji Akintoye ṣe sọ pé àwọn bá bàbá wo lọ́wọ́ ṣe. Àwa náà gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé a bá bàbá Akintoye ṣe. The result. We must have that result, and that means they need everybody. Koiki, èmi ò fi bá dá sí gbogbo yẹn waste of time ni. Everybody must be involved lórí ọ̀rọ̀ campaign for Yoruba nation. Mo kí ẹ wàlátà káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Everybody. Kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yẹn máa ṣe lọ. Èèyàn kan nísìn lára èèyàn kan nú wa ní à ń ṣe Yoruba nation. Ẹni tó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tó ń bàjọba ìlú Ifá kò ṣe kékeré. Ó ní bàbá prototype kan lọ́wọ́ tó ti gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Kéèsì yẹn wà ní court nílùú yìí. Kódà ó jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ pé British passport òun tó fi issue ó ti send email sí mi, ó ti gba British passport yẹn padà. There are many people like that. So táwọn kan bá wá ń ṣiṣẹ́ báwọn media yẹn ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ like it. Look, let me say this again, because the media don't campaign for Yoruba nation. Nobody has power to stop what they want to say. If they feel that in office or office, they have the right to say it. But one thing is, the consistent that every one of us stand sorrow, some of our me, it might not be the taste board. Some of it might be a taste board. You cannot control the social media space of people that are talking. But at the end of the day, but if you think that in Tonso was satisfied, if you can reach out to them directly, you do so. Reach out siwa ní méjì ní mẹ́ta. Ẹ jẹ́ kí olúkálùkù wa mọ̀ pé àtàwa tá ń sọ̀rọ̀ àtẹ̀yí tẹ́ ń gbọ́, we are all on the same page. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé àwa là ń sọ̀rọ̀ consistently, but then náà bá wa gbọ́, it's a waste of time. So you are part of the Yoruba Nation campaign. Ẹ má wo àwa pé àwa ni à ń darí Yoruba Nation from the media side. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ náà, ẹ̀yin náà part of it ni. And one thing is, we must all pull the force together, and that country will eventually shut down. So that is how far I can go tonight. I wish I can go further, but I can't. It's another week. Ojo Aje Lola Kolonjaje Ajejeon Moki Mr. Ade Williams. And as we leave you in just 5 minutes, I would like to say thank you so much to everyone that have joined tonight. And I hope that you've learned one or two things. We will start something much more better in the new year. But for now, we all have to be on board. Ẹ má jókòó, kọ́ máa ṣe lọ, tó bá ṣe débì kan, àgbà. Ẹ má worry nípa as many Yoruba people that are not interested. You know, we see them at home and we see them abroad. But one thing I say is that one day, àtẹni tó fẹ́, everybody will get involved. Mo kí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Dámíjù Ayọ̀míkún, Shamsuddin, mo kí Ọládépúpọ̀, Dizzy Man 123, thank you so much. As I go again tonight, I leave you in the hands of Jesus Christ and Nabi Muhammad, but mo fi sílẹ̀ fún gbogbo àwa tá believe in our own culture, our own deities, àwọn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa. There's nothing wrong in loving what we love. You can still love the one that you love. As far as I'm concerned, our content stage where nobody can fool us at 40 plus. a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Yoruba people do not fight for religion. Religion is not what we should be fighting for. What we should be fighting for is to free ourselves from the country called Nigeria that has held our life back for the last 63 years. My name is Olami Koiki. Have a very good evening and enjoy the rest of the day. Shout out to you. Bye for now.